Hi, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. Today, I'm very excited to welcome our guest, Nisha Shenoy, best-selling author of two amazing books. She's a TEDx speaker and a self-worth advocate, and she's building a self-worth revolution that we will talk more about today. Welcome, Nisha. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Neeti. It's my pleasure being here on your podcast.
So there's so many interesting things that you've been doing, and I want to dive into each one of them today. But let's just start a little bit with your professional journey, like where you started from and how you've come till here. It's quite an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's been an interesting one. Um, while I started my initial career as a chartered accountant, I gave up the degree very quickly. In the first 5 years, I decided it was not my cup of tea. And I quickly moved into learning and development. I loved taking up trainings. I loved talking to people. And in a corporate world where you are constantly dealing with Excel sheets and PPTs, back in time, I'm talking about the time this was in 2005, 2010. There was no AI. So everything we had to manually crunch data
Yes.
and draw insights and all of that. Um, I did not enjoy any of it. So I quickly moved into something that, kept my creativity alive. So training gave me that space. I did a lot of stand-up trainings that let me interact with people. I designed my own courses. So I had fun. And that eventually, led me to an HR role. I ended up becoming the HR leader for analytics and a data organization. And I was quite happy in whatever I did. I had a very different career graph, but I think I somehow could never settle for in a role which I did not enjoy, right? It always, what's the point doing an uninspiring job, isn't it, Neeti? Like,
Yes.
if something doesn't excite you, rather than thinking about it 20 years down the line, if you make that decision early on, maybe it's good for me. That's what I thought and just kept doing different things. So that's why my career has been a lot of people call me crazy. A lot of people thought that my career choices were stupid. But I knew what I was doing. Honestly,
Right.
I was always in control of my decisions, and
Correct.
uh, there was nothing that was random, though it looks random. And finally, I'm here where I needed to be. I always wanted to be an author, but financially, we were not doing very well when we started out, like my family, in my childhood, and all of that. So job was very important. Financial independence was very important. I had to work for it. And that's how it is. I'm doing now what I wanted to do probably in my
Amazing.
early career.
Amazing. But there's a right time for everything, right? And every
Mm,
experience counts. And you have been
true,
here now leveraging that experience of years.
true.
So, since you've been working on building self-worth, helping so many people, working on this initiative for a while now, I want to go back a little and tell me a little bit about your childhood, and is there anything specific that you can think of that kind of built that mindset of limitation that shaped your personality and your mindset towards this?
Yeah. Uh, as we grow up, we go through a lot of different emotional triggers. Quite a few of them shaped me actually. One, of course, is the body image issues I had, which I also talk about a lot in my TEDx talk. It was on body dysmorphia, the struggles I had, which almost I went through it for 2 decades, like 20 long years. But yes, it's a journey, and I'm still learning. And I also realize that unless you open up and share your story and own your story, you'll
Yes.
never be able to, you know get out of it. Somewhere,
Yes.
even for me, I shared that after going and sharing my story on a TEDx platform. That kind of freed me from whatever was holding me back. Because when you meet people who have had similar experiences, there's a certain connection, right? I'm not the only one. There are so many like me who have gone through body shaming or body image issues. That was definitely one incident I can, really talk about. The other thing is, I think uh, this is not different from most of the girls who go through this. I think it's the same. I mean, in our teens, um, most of us go through heartbreaks, right?
Yeah,
So I think it's that period where you have to have at least one heartbreak, which is like uh, it teaches you something.
it's a
I
rite of
mean,
passage.
so f- I'm that case of first love gone wrong. In if I were to put me as a fictional character in a book, that's what it would be like. And that's an incident that actually taught me what not to be in life.
Okay.
You can't please everybody. You can't please people. You can't really. Until that incident, I was this typical good girl. I would listen to everyone, try to please everybody, just say yes to everybody and everything. And but then that one incident kind of taught me boundaries. It actually taught me that there is no point being a good girl, because then things can still happen with you no matter how good you are. If the person is not able to appreciate your genuineness, your affection, your love, then there's something
Yes.
wrong. You don't need to overextend yourself. You don't need to shrink yourself to always suit somebody else's um, requirements. And that kind of changed a lot of things for me eventually. And one of the reasons I am saying this is because um, if in a relationship somebody is loving you and trying to change you, it doesn't work really, right? Because you cannot change yourself, or you cannot continuously reinvent yourself to suit somebody else. फिर बदल के प्यार किया तो क्या किया, right? So it's that. um I then But that also taught me, until then I had no sense of how to judge people.
Yeah.
um then slowly I figured out that I have to use my own mind, my own instincts, even to understand who I let into my inner circle. Not everybody is a friend, not everybody is a well-wisher. So there are a lot of lessons that came through that one incident, and I'm happy.
Okay.
I met my partner in this journey of discovery, and I'm so happy. I think he's been a very good friend, a mentor. Um, if I were to compare myself to any character, um, I think I was just like Geet in Jab We Met, Kareena
Wow.
Kapoor, the mad
Amazing.
person. I was
Okay.
exactly mad, mad. I mean, like that. From that to getting a hold on myself, understanding life, understanding all of that mentoring happened after I met my uh, partner, who's now my husband as well, and life is good.
Wow. Amazing.
We've been married for now. 2006 is when I got married, so um,
About 18 plus
18
years.
long years.
Yeah.
Yes, 18 long years.
Awesome. So, after having gone through this journey of self-discovery, and now you understand yourself a little better, you understand what went wrong and what not to do, but of course it came at a cost. So what different do you feel in your personality, in your way of dealings, and especially in your mindset right now?
So I feel that in every incident, or every lowest point or pain, so to speak, there is a lot of learning. There is a lot of power, because what happens is when we go through life, if everything is hunky dory, there's a certain inertia that sets in, right? We continue to do the same thing. We'll wake up, we'll eat, we'll sleep, we'll again. It's the same, thing
Yeah.
that goes on day in and day out. There's nothing extraordinary that happens. So inertia starts building in. But the moment there is something that, hits you, for which you're not prepared. I feel there's a huge mindset shift that happens after that, because that's the time you kind of step back and start reflecting on why things went wrong, which otherwise I was not doing in my life earlier. I have started reflecting only in those moments when I'm down, when I'm broken. Otherwise, we're all busy doing something or
Yes,
the other. I
exactly.
feel that those incidents, there's a lot I have learned from heartbreaks, from emotional triggers, from my darkest moments of my life, than from anything else.
Yes, of course, that makes total sense. So now you are a best-selling author. You've written two wonderful books, right? Would you like to talk about them? I want to know, is there a little reflection of your journey in that and how that has helped you getting over things?
Yes. So I've published four books so far, two fiction, one anthology, and one poetry. The two fiction books are actually it's a sequel. I mean, there's a first book which is called The Flawed Girl, and The Friday Girl, which is a sequel to The Flawed Girl. Um, so these two stories are actually stories of fiction. It is not my story. But then when you're writing as an author, each of those characters that you create, they somewhere tend to carry your soul. Even if the story is fictional, this is what I realized, that you make them breathe, you give them shades. So somewhere they end up, some aspects of them end up looking like you or feeling like you in some aspects. But not everything will be,
No, of course.
based on real life or completely based on the author. Um, and I've also created multiple characters in this fictional book. So there are so many characters into which I have created many different shades of many different people I have met, I've
Yes.
imagined, I have longed to be. So a lot of my desires also, come in some of
Yeah.
the stories. So I enjoy writing. Simply, it's like you get to create so many different characters that you want to do, want to be, situations you want to explore. So that's how the writing journey has progressed. Um, Now, the first book, which is The Flawed Girl, I wanted to explore the theme of intimacy in relationships. So, because I've always been body shamed, and body has been a constant struggle. There were periods where I struggled with intimacy. It's not easy for me as a person. Sometimes when I'm in that zone where um, I don't feel comfortable about my own body. There were periods where I have experienced that. So I wanted to explore that as a theme in my first book, which is called The Flawed Girl. Um, and I put that in a very fictional manner and created characters which actually people loved. So it was put in an office setting. I created a workplace romance kind of a character. Um, and it worked because people liked the story and they wanted more. And when the story ended, they were asking me if you would write a sequel. So then I thought, okay, let me create something out of it, and then The Friday Girl was born. And I'm so happy to share that today, as of today, I just saw that it is got the bestseller rank in
Wow.
psychic romance. um,
Amazing.
so when I created The Friday Girl, I actually wanted to do something different from the first book. The first book was just focusing on the intimacy and the romance, and it's actually a nice romantic book. It's kind of a love story or whatever you want to call in a workplace situationship. But The Friday Girl is very different from the first book. I wanted to go a little deeper into the emotional journeys, because I also, as an author, had learned, had grown.
Yes. Yes.
Um, because you are an author, Neeti, and you would understand when I say this, because every piece of writing becomes a spiritual journey when you get into it.
Yes.
Like after you write a book, something changes in the author, and there's some mindset shift that happens. And with Friday Girl, that's what happened. The way I started it and the way I ended it was completely different. I wanted it to be a love sequel. It ended up becoming a spiritual growth, personal growth kind of a journey of
Yeah.
a modern girl looking for identity, belonging, and love. Uh, I am glad the audience liked it. And let's see what I'll be writing next.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about what is the war of worth that you're now working on. You've also come up with a
Okay.
podcast now.
Yeah, yeah. So, War of Worth actually, as a concept, was born after my TEDx talk. So, the first time I gathered courage to even talk about my own body image issues was when I decided to do a talk about it. Um, I felt that at some point I have to confront my own demons. And if I can't do it within my own head, let me do it in front of an audience.
Audience, yeah.
Sometimes it is so much easier to go stand in front of an audience and just tell, or just vent it out. So my
Wow.
TEDx talk honestly was just standing there, and whatever I had not spoken, opened up, everything that I wanted to tell, I finished in that talk. So it was more like catharsis for me, just
Wow.
standing there and talking. It felt like that, and it changed me as a person. I met so many people that day. Until that day, I thought I was the only one, having this issue and body image issues. And but I realized that I met so many people after the event who have gone through similar, um, concerns, have faced similar body shaming, um, scenarios, and have gone through similar struggles. So meeting them itself made me realize that, there is so much scope for me as an author to make a difference in this world. And stories can be told on any platform. You
Yes.
can write a book, you can do a podcast, you can do reels. Now with social media, there are so many avenues to tell a story, right? And the world is a stage today, right?
Absolutely.
So that's how the War of Worth was born. I started actually with a book where I wanted to capture my TEDx journey into a book where I started developing um, an essay, a deeply personal essay on my
Okay.
struggles. But while I was writing that book, I also realized, why not talk to all those people who have struggled with self-worth? Because I have wasted 20 years of my life on my body image, because my identity was in my body, right? Had I not wasted those 20 years, my life would have been very different. I may have made different choices. I may have done very different things. Um, I don't know, right? So somewhere the emotional freedom I gained on that day after doing the TEDx talk made me realize that if stories are told in safe spaces, right? If you're talking and if you're sharing your story, something changes in you, right? And if I can provide that platform to someone else where they can come, they can share their story, and they can also feel uplifted, or they can feel empowered, and they can also inspire hundreds, thousands, millions
Yes.
of lives with their story. I think it's a life well lived. And it will be telling story on a different platform. You can either write a book, you can
Right.
tell a story elsewhere, right? So that
Absolutely.
was the thought process behind War of Worth.
Okay. So you've come out with a few episodes. I'm really looking forward to the rest of them. It's
Thank you so
something
much.
really, really powerful that you're working on. And I wish you all the best for that. Now, very
Thank you.
quickly, I want to ask you a couple of things. First of all, for me, ritual, daily routines, habits is very important. The power of daily habits is what I think is the foundation of everything we do. So I would like to know your habits or your ritual that keeps you going, in this insane world, chaotic world. What is it that works for you?
On this question, I'm going to disappoint you, uh, because I have always struggled with consistency. If there's one thing that
So
I
have I.
struggle with,
So have I. So I'm there with you.
it's habits. So, sticking to a routine or sticking to a habit is one of my greatest struggles. Okay. So, in the sense that even if I decide that I have to exercise 15 minutes a day, I will do it for 2 days, and the third day I may not show up. Okay, that is how I generally am. So for me, consistency and habits and rituals is a struggle. And right now, my journey is in terms of um, kind of changing that. I have lived in this mode for so long where I have not been consistent or not able to hold on to a habit or a routine. I'm working on that, and that is what I'm trying to do, because somewhere I feel, um, trying to be in this mode where you want to overachieve, want to do a lot of things, you kind of don't have those basic non-negotiable things in your life, like the discipline that you need to for self-care, or the discipline that you need for just your some grounding techniques that you need, or something for
Yeah.
your wellness, for your I have not been able to prioritize any of that just
See,
in
for
my
me, it's something that you might not do daily, but it's something you keep coming back to. Like for some, it could be like time with family. For some, it could be just going out for a nice dinner or a nice movie night. Something that
Mhm.
always keeps you back to,
Yeah,
re-energizing,
recharge.
regulating your emotions. So it could be sometimes people are not able to stick to it on a daily basis, but you can come back to it. For me, that's what
Yeah,
works. It's not that
yeah.
I will, if I work out, I may not go every day. Like today, I didn't go because I woke up with a lot of stiff neck
Mm,
pain. Yesterday, I did something really advanced, but that's okay. I will go on Monday. I know I will go back to it. So it's okay.
mm,
I always forgive. Now I have started to forgive myself for
mm,
a little break or a little distraction, because it's
mm,
something I can always go back to. So I know you
mm.
have a lot of those things already. So
Um, yeah. Uh,
and for us,
uh,
it's writing, of course. That is what
yeah,
we
right.
always come
That's
back
one
to.
thing.
Sharing our
Yes,
story, that's something
yes,
that keeps
yes.
us going.
I agree.
So,
For me, nothing gives me joy as much as, coming back to my laptop, sitting
yes.
in silence,
So,
and writing words putting words
exactly.
and on a Word document, collecting all my thoughts. I think that is what keeps me
Yes.
going on a day-to-day basis. Creating something, um, telling stories.
Yes.
I like to be productive. I think that's what keeps
Yes.
me
Exactly.
um, fueled. That that is a given. But when it comes to all the other things, right, I can sit the entire day and write. I can sit for 48 hours if you tell me without moving and write. I can do this
Yeah.
like
See,
24
that's
bar
a
7. I don't
superpower.
mind. I don't mind. And but the problem is, if you tell me कि जाके 10 मिनट का exercise करके आओ, it is so much of a struggle for me. I am like that kung fu pants that
No, no, I
just
get
wants to
that.
eat.
We all actually have different priorities, and it all we get there one by one. अपना,
So
पहले ये
that's
वो
my
steps.
mission now currently, where I want to work. So for so long it was like, because of the body shaming and other things, I did not even want to work on it. I
Yeah, I
rebelled
get
against
that.
my own body. And I did not want to take care of, because people saw me as a ball of flesh. So I was like, okay, ठीक है, जैसा देखना है देख लो. I will still be a ball of flesh for you. You will comment on my body. So I did not want to work on it. But then I realized that it is not for them that I need to work on my body. It is for me.
Yeah,
This is my body, and I have to care for it.
correct.
It is not about looking good. It is not about pleasing someone. It is about standing up, showing up for my own self,
Yes.
standing in front of the mirror and telling myself that I am enough. I'm good enough the way I am.
Amazing. Exactly. So this has been a great revelation, and I just want to end with one final message from you for the listeners and for me, for all the people struggling with self-worth. If there's one thing you can tell them.
Just be yourself. I mean, nothing is more precious than guarding your own soul, your spirit, your energy. because I feel that we all come born with valor. Like when we are young, we're very courageous. We're not worried, we're not bothered. Each one of us is like, अगर चांद पे जाना है. Our dreams are also crazy, right? यहाँ ये करना है, मैं कल वो बनूंगी. But then somewhere as we start understanding life, logic takes over. You know, we start trying to put ourselves in the mold that somebody else wants us to be. It's either a parent, a partner, a boss, a friend. So we kind of end up, kind of shedding all the small pieces of our soul and trying to become somebody else to suit and to suit the world, to suit the society, to suit some construct, to conform. So that has been my story throughout, trying to fit myself to somebody else's mold. And now today in my 40s, I'm realizing कि ये सब करना था क्या? Like I'm asking myself, कि why did I let go of those small pieces of gems that I held in myself? ऐसे ही दे दिया. So I feel that, you know, rather than shrinking yourself, making yourself smaller, just be who you are. If you don't fit the size of the room, it's okay. If somebody doesn't value your worth, it's okay. तुम खुद stand up करो अपने लिए. You value yourself first before you expect somebody else to value you. That is what self-worth is all about. Self-worth कोई नारा नहीं है कि मतलब it's not a bandwagon, no, to even body positivity. किसको body positivity चाहिए? I am the one who needs to be body positive. If somebody else is shaming me, I should not shame myself. There needs to be a distance between me as a person versus me as a victim. Nahi, I am not the victim. I am who I am. So this lesson, it took me 4 decades of my life to get this. And I only want to tell people that don't waste 40 years of your life to get this learning. Stand up for yourself from day one. Be your own best friend, be your own cheerleader. And if you need help, support, we are around. Reach out to us. We are there. And stay connected. I think in this world of technology, connection is another thing that's
Yes.
missing. Each of us is feeling so isolated and distanced that WHO has already declared depression and anxiety as the next pandemic. So it's even more important for us as humans to stay connected. That's the only way to be happy, to stay sane. And as we become more technologically advanced, we should also look at more spiritual enrichment and
Yes.
look at, kind of giving more nourishment to the soul, not just the physical body, but also the emotional body, the social body, the spiritual body. Each of these are different aspects of us as humans. And I'm writing about all of this in my upcoming book, which is called The War of Worth.
Okay.
Again, it's not just the name of my podcast. I thought instead of writing multiple things and confusing my audience, I will keep a single brand जो काफी easy है remember करने के लिए. So
Awesome.
War of Worth में ये सब चीजें I'm going to talk about a little more in detail.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, the one thing that I truly agree with, I mean, I totally resonate with your entire message. And yes, I also keep saying that value yourself. It's the first thing you have to do. Always start with valuing yourself. Thank you for that message. And we look forward to hearing more from you on your podcast and in your books. Thank you for being here. And we hope to keep having you again.
It's my pleasure, Neeti. Thank you for having me here. And let's come back after a few years again or
Yes.
next year and see how we grow together
And
in
bring
this
more
journey.
gems together.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.